Hello, everyone. Michael here with Arc Integrated. We are live, and today we are going to be talking about how to up-level your online meetings. And so we have all, in the last bunch of weeks, been involved in online meetings, whether you're working from home or you're still maybe going into the office. I'm in my office right now, thankfully. And we're all online. So today we're going to be talking about how to up-level your online meeting experience. And so as you're coming in, I'm going to wait for a few folks to join, but as you're coming in, I would love to know the answer to this question, which is, what would make your current online meetings better? Whether you're on Zoom or on some other platform, what are you seeing that needs to improve about those meetings? And if you're here live or you're seeing this on the replay, drop the answer to that question in the comments. We'd love to know, what do you need? What would you like to see improved in the meetings that you're having? And if you stay to the end of this, we're going to give away a gift that's going to up-level your online meetings, whether you're doing virtual chats with family or you're meeting with your team globally or nationally online, or you're doing strategic conversations if you're in an organization, or if you're hosting virtual summits or conferences. The gift that I'm going to share with you today is going to be relevant for you, and it's going to help you up-level any online experience that you're having. So the question that I have for you is, what would help you up-level your online experience? What are you seeing that you need? So as you're coming on, or if you're seeing this on the replay, drop that into the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. So let's talk about the problem that we're seeing right now, which is, first of all, that we're in this time of quarantine and we're in this time of social isolation. And part of that with this global epidemic that we're having is that, there's a lot of stress and uncertainty and anxiety and fear that's going on, rightfully so, because of all the things that are happening in the world. And the problem as it relates to having really effective online meetings is that, of course, naturally, that fear shows up in the context of our meetings. And sometimes the way it shows up is through conversations about things that are bad, things that are fearful or uncertain. And that's natural. It's a protective instinct that we have as human beings to assess the dangers around us. But as it relates to really effective communication, both online and in person, it doesn't serve us to our greatest potential to be continuously talking about what's wrong and what's uncertain and all the fear, even though that's a reality that exists. So that's the problem that's in place for all of us. Right? So the question is, what do we do with that? How do we leverage what's going on, the reality of the pain and fear and uncertainty that's going on, and knowing that if we're going to have meetings online and we're going to have effective group chats in any capacity, whether it's with a family or colleagues or a team or an organization, how do we solve that problem from recognizing the truth of the reality to knowing that truth doesn't serve our effectiveness and potential in the meetings that we're in? So that's the problem that we have. And so in the last few weeks, I've been on dozens and dozens of Zoom calls with a wide variety of clients and organizations, serving as facilitator for groups of half a dozen up to 75 to 100 plus on one call, and been experimenting. And we've seen what works really well in this context of really effective online meetings and what doesn't work. And what I just explained, obviously, is what doesn't work. But what we're seeing that is really effective is two things that we're seeing that come through. Just checking the comments here, that come through really well. So to improve our online meetings, two things that we're seeing that work really well. One is offering up the opportunity for people to connect with each other and share the reality of the experience that people are having. And so sometimes the inclination can be to jump right into whatever it is that's going on, topic at hand for the online meeting. And the reality is that what's on all of our minds right now is, what's happening in the world. And so just having a little bit of truth sharing about people's experience emotionally, psychologically, having people show up where they're at. But even better than that, having them ask each other generative questions. And so what do I mean by generative questions? That means, a good example is this is a question of resilience. So that means, when in a time when in your life have you been faced with a time where, the odds were against you, or you didn't know how to move to the other side of the situation, and yet you were able to push through, you were able to overcome, and you were able to achieve beyond what you thought you were able to. That's a resilience question. What's up, Persia? Good to see you, man. So this generative question of when have you seen resiliency show up at its best is a way to create deeper connections. Another generative question is, in the last few weeks, given this pandemic that we're in, when have you seen humanity show up at its best? Meaning there's all sorts of acts of kindness and goodness and support and collaboration, community-wise, nationally and globally. So the question of when have you seen people come together, and when have you seen humanity at its best? That's a generative question. And so that's one thing that we've seen work really well. And the other thing that we've seen in these facilitations that we've been doing is creating positive ideas and solutions together. And so using each other's wisdom and experience to crowdsource solutions that might not be able to be landed upon on our own. And so these two tips of positive generative questions and positive idea generation are ones that we've seen work really well in the context of online meetings. So the question you might be asking is that sounds good, but how might I do this on my own? And so that's the gift that I want to give to you all today. And if you're seeing this on the replay, I'll drop the link below this video. And so the gift is a tool that we've used in virtual meetings of various sizes for all sorts of groups, from groups of community leaders to organizations that are bringing together strategic partners within their business ecosystem, to teams of organizations, to folks that want to use this tool at the virtual family gathering on Sunday, right? And so the tool is a virtual card deck. And so for folks that are seeing this, that know me, you know that I created this card deck last year, which is a physical card deck that asks interesting questions like this, right? And I'll give you another example. This one's super relevant right now, which is here, which is that if that's coming out in mirror effect, says, what would you like to change? How would you like to change your time and where you spend your time online? And so this card deck is a great physical tool that helps unlock potential and unlock engagement in any group scenario in person, right? But the problem is we're not in person right now. We're all virtual. So what I've created is a virtual version of this card deck that you can apply right away. And it's a sampling of various questions from 7 aspects of our lived experience. And if you're curious to learn more about these 7 aspects of our lived experience, you can check out the book that I wrote called Changes, which talks about how these 7 aspects of our lived experience influence all the effective change that we're able to make. And if these aspects are ignored, are really to our detriment in any change that we're trying to create. So the card deck comes from this concept in the book. And this virtual card deck walks you through a handful of questions, 4 questions from each of the 7 dimensions, and gives you an activity that you can apply right away and very clear instructions so that at your next virtual meeting, you're not stuck, complaining about what's going on and stuck in the fear and the anxiety and the uncertainty. Again, rightfully so, that's all of our experiences right now. But the opportunity is to ask ourselves and each other more generative questions. And I believe that this virtual card deck will be a tool for you to use within your organization, within your family, and within your colleagues and friends. And so I'm going to drop the link to that deck below this video. And if you're seeing this live and you want to check it out right away, you can just go to virtualchanges.com, and it's a slide deck and you can put it to work right away. If this brought up any questions for you, I would encourage you to drop comments. And feel free, if you're watching this on the replay, drop comments and I'll make sure and circle back to answer any questions that you have. And of course, reach out if you'd like to connect. Hope this finds you doing well. Hope this finds your family doing well, and everybody staying safe and healthy and happy. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks so much.